Hey guys, I'm cmasupra and welcome to another Company of Heroes 2 multiplayer video. This game is going to be a good one, obviously, because I wouldn't make a video on it if it wasn't going to be a good game. So throughout this whole game, there was a lot of back and forth between me and my opponent on this map, and then at the ending of the game, it was very interesting for an ending. I'm not going to spoil what happened, but it was very interesting. And also in this game, I got a heroic T-70, because you can tell by the title of the video, and by heroic I mean Vet 3. I consider Vet 3 to be heroic, but it also, besides being Vet 3, was something that won me the game. I'm going to say I won the game, but I'm not going to spoil really what happened in the ending. So I'm playing as the Russians, my opponent is the Germans, and we are playing on Simoski, which is one of the new maps that was added recently. Actually, it's the new map that was added recently. There's not a whole bunch of them. But it was added recently. It's a remake of Simois, or Simois, from Company of Heroes 1. Pronounced Simois correctly. So I pretty much know this map. I gotta say, this map does not look very good in the summer version, but it does look good in the winter version, even at minimum graphics like you're seeing here. So I have two conscript squads, two conscript squads. There we go. Correct English. I have two conscript squads out from my HQ as a start. I always do that. I will be building a third one here pretty soon. My first conscript squad went over to the middle of the map to start capturing points there, and they've actually found an enemy over there, and it turns out to be a pioneer squad, so I am not worried about that at all. Conscripts will most definitely win against a pioneer squad. My second conscript squad is going to go and capture some points in the lower part of the map once they reach that area. As for my starting engineer squad, I sent it up to the top of the map over here to capture points. And normally in Company of Heroes 1, there is a point to the right side of my HQ. It's not there in Company of Heroes 2, sadly. I think it added quite a bit of diversity to people's capping orders in Company of Heroes 1, but it's not there in Company of Heroes 2. So I don't even need two engineer squads. I don't have to send my first engineer squad or first conscript squad over there to capture the point. All my capping is focused on basically the middle of the map, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty much the middle of the map, so all the fighting will be pretty concentrated in this map, just like it was in Company of Heroes 1, although it's more so in Company of Heroes 2. Here we have an engagement between pioneers and engineers. Normally engineers would win, especially when they're in green cover, but pioneers are better at close range, and as a result my engineers are just screwed, and so I have to back them up. They are at half health. They haven't lost any men, surprisingly, but they are at less than half health now, actually, and so I had to back them up. It's amazing they didn't lose any men. Look at how little health they have up at the top right corner. They have so little health. And now here go the men. There you go. 3 men. And they get away with 3 men. Actually, maybe not, because there's the Grenadier squad capturing that field point. So, in the middle, I have 2 conscript squads, because I built my third conscript squad and just sent it to the middle, because it had nowhere else to really go, other than the middle. My second conscript squad that I had capturing points down lower in the map is still capturing points, but it's going to be useful here because my opponent is running straight towards it with his pioneer squad. I can give chase with my conscript squad that is chasing it, but then I can also send my other conscript squad over here to help attack this pioneer squad, who actually got in the house, which is a bit interesting because it's a stalling tactic. Obviously, he is stalling to make my conscripts basically do nothing for me, but at the same time, his pioneer squad's not doing anything for him, and he risks losing the pioneer squad if he continues stalling. Overall, he is winning this. He's losing manpower. I'm not here, but he is making me waste my manpower. I mean, he has 2 conscript squads, which cost 480 total manpower, just sitting there firing at a 200 manpower unit. So he's winning in terms of 280 manpower there, but he lost the whole squad because he didn't get out of the building soon enough, and so I am now at the advantage, even though I wasted my time shooting at him. Kinda, sorta. It wasn't a waste in the end. I am going ahead and building tier 2, and that's because I want to do a fast T-70. I want to get the T-70 as fast as possible against this guy, because I feel like T-70s are really the way to go. They're better strategies these days. They're the better strategy, rather, these days for me, anyways. I don't do as well with Molotovs as I used to do one point in time, But I think that's just because people have gotten better at the game. They know how to dodge Molotovs now, and so Molotovs just really aren't as useful as a T-70 is now. It used to be the opposite. It used to be Molotovs would be the way to go, and T-70s were not the way to go, because T-70s were not very good, and Molotovs were things that people didn't know how to dodge, and so Molotovs were really, really good in the very early game. Flamethrower Engineer Squad makes that squad exit the building, so now I can take it for myself and just flame him from inside the building with a whole bunch of cover. You may notice, looking at the minimap, that my opponent has actually cut me off from any resources, so I was completely cut off there for a little bit, and I'm still pretty cut off here. I'm not getting much in terms of resources right now. I only have 2 points. Well, actually, I have 3 points, I guess. No, 4. I keep seeing more and more points. I have 4 points right now, but 2 of them are strategic points, and then there's 1 munitions and 1 fuel. I don't have as much as my opponent has right now, that is for sure. He has a much higher income than I do. And I'm still going to try and go for the T-70 rush, but in this case it might end up being a T-34 rush. We will see when I actually end up building that building, because I haven't yet built it. That building being Tier 3. I only have Tier 2 built right now. So he has an MG in the building, and I really would have liked to use the Flamer Engineer Squad on that building, because the flamethrowers do a lot of damage to units in buildings. But I wasn't able to because the flamethrower squad ended up being the bait for the MG. So the MG was shooting at the flamethrower squad, while my 2 conscript squads were shooting at the MG, and they actually did quite a bit of damage to the MG, so that was very nice. Even though it wasn't a flamethrower, still did a lot of damage. My opponent's Grenadier squad in the middle of the map is not going to win that fight, although they do have an LMG-42 now, so maybe they would win that fight. Especially since they are backing up, and conscripts are better at close range, grenadiers are better at long range. I do have more health and more men though, so who knows how that battle's gonna go. My opponent has put his MG in another house over here next to the fuel point, the rightmost fuel point, and that's a bit interesting. I mean, it was smart of him, but it also means that he doesn't have any support in the middle of the map, and thus I was able to push his grenadier squad off, and I'm able to take points more in the middle of the map. So he did lose the middle of the map in the process of putting his MG in that house near the fuel point. However, he has gotten the fuel point for himself, and that could be considered a good thing because he has both fuel points on the map right now. So he's going to be teching very, very fast if I let him have both fuel points for a while. This conscript squad was pretty much doomed. So we'll see if it gets out of there alive. I hope it does, but we'll see whether or not it does. Ooh, that's getting really close. They're down to 2 men, but they're making it out alive, so that's good. Good move by my opponent getting in my retreat path. That MG is still sitting in the house. That's not smart, guy. You're supposed to move your MG so I never know where it is, and then you can always suppress me whenever I come to attack, because I don't know how to flank, because I don't know where your MG is. If I do know where your MG is, I know how to flank, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm coming to flank the MG, and I am successful. He exits the building, and look at this. Am I going to kill the MG? That would be awesome. And I do it. I do kill the MG. So I immediately crew it with my 5-man conscript squad. I accidentally clicked with my 6-man conscript squad, but luckily I was able to cancel the taking over of the MG with that squad. So I now have an MG-42 at my disposal, and I also have built Tier 3, so I can buy a T-70 here pretty soon, once I reach 55 manpower, which is right now, so I'm going to buy the T-70 here pretty soon. In terms of map control, I am still at a disadvantage compared to my opponent, which sucks, but hopefully the T-70 can fix that for me, and then hopefully my opponent isn't doing too much teching, to where he'll be able to out-tech me, and my T-70 will become useless. Hopefully that won't be the case, but we will find out. That Grenadier squad almost died there to the flamethrowers and flamethrowers and MG-42. There we go. So, they did get out of there alive, though. Planting a mine near his exit road from his base. even though it is the winter version of this map where the choke points are not really there, because you can cross on the ice like you can see this engineer squad doing. Still plant a mine there because it's a commonly traveled spot on the map. Tactics are amazingly different with the winter version of this map, because that ice means that the choke points are no longer there. All those choke points that you're familiar with from Simwa and Company of Heroes 1, or the summer version of Simwa, Simoski, and Company of Heroes 2, are just not there, and thus there's so many more flanking opportunities, and it's just a totally different... You have to play with a totally different strategy than you used to have to. Also, the fact that the fuel points are, they've moved essentially. Rather than being right next to the bases, they are instead where the +5 fuel points used to be on Simwa in Company of Heroes 1. So it makes those points much more important, and cutting your opponent off at their base is not as useful as it once was, because now you're not taking away their fuel as long as they're connected some other way throughout the map. My T-70 is on the field and has been for a little while, and I actually killed off a full Grenadier squad when it first came out, and so that was really nice. That was a good shot there. Ooh, look at how good the T-70 is against infantry. This is why I like the T-70. It can basically force your opponent to send all of their infantry retreating, because their infantry cannot stand up to your T-70 as long as you can kite your T-70 correctly. Stay out of Panzerfaust range, keep going back up whenever he chases you, do stuff like that. As long as you can micro your T-70 so that it's always kiting the grenadiers that you're shooting at, you can basically force a full retreat of your opponent's army until he comes up with a counter, be it in the form of a pack, in the form of a Vet 2 scout car with the upgraded gun, be it in the form of a Stug or a Panzer IV. Just until he comes up with a counter, you have free reign, and you can basically force the full retreat of your opponent's army. That's one reason I really like the T-70. As I said earlier, Molotovs tend to get dodged, so I don't like Molotovs as much anymore. So I do have a ZIS AT gun on the field right now, and that was because I was fully expecting my opponent to bring out a tank sometime soon. I mean, he had 2 fuel points, for both of the fuel points, for quite a while in the game, so he's probably teching up really fast. He also had a lot of map control at that time as well, so he had a lot of fuel income and munitions income. So I expect teching to be very, very fast for my opponent. And here we go, just as I expected, Panzer IV. People love building the Panzer IVs as the Germans, and so that's pretty much what I was expecting. I always expect a Panzer IV to show up at some point when I'm playing against the Germans. So now there is a counter to my T-70, but I have a counter to his counter, and in the form of my AT guns, so he might have a Panzer IV, but it's not going to be exceedingly useful unless he knows where my AT gun is at all times and is able to avoid the AT grenades that I have in my conscripts, because AT grenades are just a nice supplement to the AT gun, and if you can get an AT grenade on a Panzer IV or any sort of Axis tank, then they'll move slower, and as a result, the AT gun will be able to shoot more shells at them and do more damage. My conscript squad's going to lose that battle in the middle, which is not good. I need to bring in some reinforcements. Oh, and then I lose the conscript squad. That's the second one I've lost recently. I lost another one earlier in the game, at the rightmost victory point. At some point recently, within the last minute or two. So I'm not doing too well with my conscript squads, but at the same time I've actually killed a few grenadier squads with my T-70, so it's kind of balanced out. He and I have about equal losses. His Panzer IV does have an advantage over my T-70, like I said, but I have a ZIS AT gun to deal with that. That Gren squad just became Vet 2, which is not good for me against my flamethrowers. I had 2 flamethrower squads. I didn't even notice that. I had 2 flamethrower squads there protecting my AT gun, because I didn't have anything protecting it earlier, because the one conscript squad was losing in the middle. I needed something to protect my AT gun, and engineer squads with flamethrowers would do the job quite well. So I have actually triple capped my opponent right now in terms of VPs. We're about even in the number of VP remaining points that we have, but in terms of the number of VPs captured, I have him triple capped. So this is going to go really well for me for these next few seconds at least, until he decaps at least one of them. So I'm trying to hold all three of them. If I can just make the game end soon, then yay for me, because I'm good at the early game. In a game, I'm not so good at the late game, and so the quicker I can make a game end, the better for me. That Panzer IV still has a damaged engine. My T-70 is up there, and I was trying to shoot at infantry up there. But Panzer IV showed up, so my T-70 had to leave. I believe I tossed an AT grenade on the Panzer IV just to do some more damage on it. T-70 is going around the Panzer IV. Look at me being all ballsy here. I just went around the Panzer IV like, haha, come chase me. You want to kill me, right? Come chase me. I have an AT gun set up to shoot at you. You definitely want to come chase me. He knows better. He pops smoke and doesn't give chase with his Panzer IV. So the fact that he popped smoke means that he has picked his doctrine. I don't know which doctrine that would be, because I don't know the names of any doctrines in this game. I just know, like, what doctrines I have picked, and that's literally all I know in terms of doctrines. But he has picked his doctrine, and that means he cannot pick a doctrine to save himself at this point. So basically, whatever I do, unless he already has a counter to it in his doctrine or his army, which is his Germans in this case, he cannot counter something I do. So, hooray! That's awesome. I've also picked a doctrine myself, and it's the same exact one I picked in the last game I showed you guys, because I just really like this doctrine. I like it so much. Conscript repair is so handy. Pepeshkas are so nice. The incendiary barrage is so good for getting rid of infantry in an area. Also for denying an area to your enemy. It's just such a good doctrine in my opinion. T-70 is fully repaired thanks to my conscripts, and now the T-70 can once again go killing grenadier squads. And that's exactly what I'm going to have it do here. Look at that sniper shot. It's just so good against infantry. Better than T-34, that's for sure. Only slightly better, but it is definitely better. Don't want to give too much chase with the T-70, because I don't know what my opponent has laying around in his base. It could be an AT gun. If there's an AT gun shooting at my T-70 is screwed, because it doesn't have much health or armor. My opponent has actually capped the left and right VPs. So I'm no longer triple capping him, and he's actually counting down my VPs, but I am here to try and fix that. So I'm attacking him on both the left and the right. In the middle, I have definitely won. I have most map control there, so we're doing well in the middle. Oh, Pioneer Squad retreating. This is a great opportunity for me. Kill the whole Pioneer Squad. AT gun. Oh, boy. AT gun would need to go fire at that Panzer IV for me to be able to really do that, because my T-70 wouldn't survive against a Panzer IV. I don't know if I killed the Pioneer Squad or not. You can see flames over there next to the church, and that is from his mortar half-track. So whatever doctrine he has picked has given him smoke on his vehicles, and it's given him a mortar half-track. So two things we know he has are those two abilities, so we know we can expect those. He did pop smoke over there in front of the church, which is a bit interesting. I mean, the AT gun was firing at him over there, but he went behind the church anyway, so I'm not too sure that smoke was very useful. This Panzer IV is one AT grenade away from death. I so wanted to just kill it with an AT grenade here. I also wanted to come charging up with my T-70 to try to finish it off with that on the rear armor, but T-70 is too weak, and it is Vet 2. I'd like to keep it alive, so I'm not able to finish off the Panzer IV there. I could have tried moving up my AT gun, but that would not have worked too well because he does have infantry protecting his tank over there. So the AT gun would not have survived if I tried that. So basically, I just ended up letting that Panzer IV survive to fight another day after getting lots of repairs. Mortar is shelling my AT gun, so I have to move my AT gun. I don't know where this mortar is, but I would like to get rid of it because mortars are so annoying. They're so strong in this game. They weren't as strong in Company of Heroes 1, but they are pretty strong in Company of Heroes 2. They're balanced. I'm not going to say they're not balanced, because they are at this point, other than the 120mm mortar that the Soviets can get as part of one of their doctrines. but other mortars are perfectly balanced, and I can guarantee my opponent is not using the 120mm mortar that the Soviets get because he uses the Germans, and I don't have that mortar, so I never gave it to him. Hello, Panzer IV. You must be a new Panzer IV, because you don't have the veterancy that the previous one had. I'm pretty sure the other one had veterancy. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it did. So this must be a new Panzer IV, so it's the second Panzer IV my opponent has at this point. So I'm going to need some more AT power in here, and lucky for me, I actually built a T-70, T-34, and so that's going to be a helpful unit to have against the Panzer IVs. It's not too great, but it is definitely helpful. Ooh, that mortar hit luckily didn't do very much. Ooh, rifle grenade incoming. Doesn't matter though, because I have moved at that point. Something I should mention, in case you guys are not aware of it, is as the Soviets, if you say like throw an AT grenade over here, or throw a Molotov over here, and then you press S to cancel it, or whatever your key is if you're using a special layout, it will actually cancel the ability and refund you the price. As the Germans, however, once you choose an ability and you use it, pressing S will stop the ability from being used, but it will not refund you, so be aware of that. You can never cancel an ability and get a refund as the Germans. So here you can see I actually lured my opponent's Panzer IV over to the right side of the map, and I was able to shoot at him with my AT gun and actually kill him with my AT gun, so the Panzer IV is dead. This Pioneer Squad is also dead, and both of my tanks have survived. He went chasing after both of them, and they both survived, so that is awesome. T-34 is pretty low on health, though. The very bottom of the map, it appears my opponent has built an OP. I don't know which OP that was. I believe it was munitions. Can't quite tell on the minimap, though. AT gun is Vet 2. That is awesome. Does more damage, I believe. My opponent's capturing the middle VP. That is unacceptable. Throw an incendiary barrage on that. So what is this? Standard territory point. Munitions cache. So it is munitions. I was right. So there goes his munitions cache. No longer getting extra munitions once it's destroyed. It is guaranteed to go away. Even if he comes at me with his whole army to try and protect it, I will still be able to kill it. In terms of VPs, it's red, white, and blue. We have one red, one white, one blue in that order as well. Look at that map. It's in order. Red, white, and blue. All the American colors. What an American map. Oh, that's funny. I've never actually noticed that before, but the three colors are red, white, and blue, aren't they? I have nothing to reinforce. Look at my army at the top right corner. Everything is fully healed, fully reinforced. The only thing that needs to be repaired is my T-34, and that is it, and it is being repaired. So, my army is nice and good to go. I mentioned that we haven't seen a single blizzard at all in this game, and I actually didn't know this, but he told me that blizzards don't appear on this map, which I thought was interesting. Like, why did they decide not to put blizzards in this map? If any of you know, let me know, because I don't know the answer. I guess it's because people didn't like blizzards at first, or they wanted to test having a snow map without blizzards. I don't know what it was. I mean, people don't mind blizzards at this point. At least I don't mind them. I never really minded them. I know some people at the very beginning didn't like them, but I don't really hear any complaints about it anymore, so I think people overall do like them at this point. Or don't mind them anyway. So I don't know what their reasoning was to not put blizzards in this map, but they didn't. Molotov to the house. I was hoping to destroy the house. That would have been awesome, because the whole squad was in there. And killing off another Grenadier squad would be awesome. Hoorahing towards the Panzer IV, but I'm not able to make it there because his shell bounces back my conscripts, and then they're not able to go and give chase to the Panzer IV. I wanted to throw an AT grenade at it, and then kill it with the AT gun, but that didn't happen. I just lost a conscript squad and gave Vet 3 to that Grenadier squad. That's not good for me at all. Oh boy, so I'm losing more squads. He's also lost his fair share of squads, though, particularly due to my T-70. T-70's done quite a bit so far. It is still Vet 2, but it's done quite a bit to get to that Vet 2. Wait till you see how many kills it had at the end of this game, And also wait till you see how many kills his mortar half-track had before the end of this game. That mortar half-track had a lot of kills. Both my tanks here in the middle shooting at his Grenadier squad. I am still kiting him because I want to stay out of Panzerfaust range, but I needed to protect my AT gun, and that was the best way to do it. T-70 is Vet 2, so I can use it to capture that middle VP if I wanted to, but instead I decided to use my AT gun, because I might as well. The AT gun counts as infantry, and can counter the, cap the VP, but it's not able to, because as they were running away, they got decrewed. They're also not sitting in the middle of the VP. I guess I didn't decide to cap the point with the VP, not the VP, cap the point with the AT gun. I decided to just move the AT gun back a little bit because it was so vulnerable, I guess. I guess that's what I decided to do. I do cap the leftmost VP, so I have the left and the right, and it'd be nice to cap the middle. I should really put my T-70 in capture mode and cap that middle VP, but I'm not doing it because I'm busy doing other things, bringing up infantry. And at this point, there's infantry close to the middle VP, so I might as well use them to capture that middle VP instead of the T-70. That way the T-70 can still cap points. Incendiary barrage by my opponent's mortar half-track, which is very annoying because it's so effective. This engineer squad is Vet 2. Wow. A Vet 2 engineer squad. You don't see that very often, do you? Even with the flamethrower. Moving my T-70 up to help out my engineer squad here, because the engineer squad is most definitely losing, and I'm not able to cap the point, sadly, but my T-70 should take care of the Grenadier squad, or at least it would have if the mortar wasn't firing at it. That mortar did a lot of damage to it. Oh, here we go. You see that mortar half-track? It's up there, but then there's a Panzer IV up there as well. So turn the AT gun around since I just recruited it. Get the T-70 out of there since I don't want it to die to the Panzer IV. Panzer IV now has two things firing at it, the AT gun and the T-34. T-70 is getting away, not getting within Panzerfaust range, because if it got Panzerfausted at this point, it would die. I'm winning this battle over here. Now I'm really winning it with the Molotov sitting right there. So I'm not worried about that squad. The AT gun is dead, because while I was watching the squad going on at the top fuel point, my opponent sent an incendiary barrage onto my AT gun, so that's not good. I am capturing a lot of the map in the bottom part of the map. That is a very good thing. The middle is definitely being fought over, though. Luckily, I am overall winning in the middle, though. I keep saying though. Conscript repair on the T-70. Conscript repair is just so useful, because they don't have to have an engineer squad specifically there next to your tank to repair it. You can just have any infantry unit that happens to be in the area repair the tank. And I say any infantry unit, I mean conscript squad or engineer squad. I don't mean penal battalions, I don't mean guards, rifle... What are they called? Guards, rifle... Battalion? I don't think that's it. Penal battalion. Oh, what are they called? I can't remember. It's been so long since I bought them, since they don't come with my doctrine. I don't know what they're called, actually. Guards, rifle, infantry. There we go. I think that's it. Yeah. Conscripts or engineers can repair vehicles rather than just engineers. So both my tanks are repaired. I also have a second T-34 out on the field to help out with my AT, and also help out with the anti-infantry, since my opponent has a decent amount of infantry still on the field. Laying a mine on this bridge, which would normally be a choke point, but in this case is not a choke point because of all that ice that you can just not randomly cross, but you can cross the ice at any point on the map. I do have 2 VPs, which is good, so he is losing VPs, I'm not losing VPs right now. I still have quite a few remaining compared to what my opponent has. So I am winning in VPs overall. I have the right one and the middle one, so I can easily cover both of these at the same time without much of an issue. If I had like the left and the right, that is hard to cover both at the same time because you have to basically split your forces, and you can't like say I'm going to protect this one, and then if my opponent attacks the other one, I'm just going to move my whole force or some of my force over to that other one. We do have a charge over here because of the mortar half-track. I finally found out where it was. I charged with both my T-34s, and the Panzer IV uses smoke. No! That smoke kind of ruined me there, but I can just charge through it and go attack his Panzer IV. Let's kill this Panzer IV. Come on, T-34s, kill it, kill it. Abandoned. Oh yes, I can take it for my own. That would be very nice to do. We'll see if I do that. There is another Panzer IV up there near the top of the map, so I'm bringing my AT gun to help support and kill the Panzer IV. Or was that a Tiger? That's a Tiger, not a Panzer IV. So my opponent has a Tiger on the field now, so we know the abilities my opponent's doctrine has available for him. He has smoke, he has a mortar half-track, and he has a Tiger. So that's not good for me. I do give chase over here with my T-34s into his base. My goal was to kill that Grenadier squad because I figured my opponent has a Tiger. I need to counter that somehow, so I'm going to kill his infantry to counter that because the infantry costs manpower and it reduces my opponent's capping ability, so even if he has a Tiger, he's not going to be able to capture points very well. Sadly though, you can hear the T-34 screaming in pain and agony. He is dead. So I killed the Panzer IV, and in trade of that, I lost both my T-34s to his Tiger. That's not a good trade at all. I definitely lost that one. However, I have gained the intel that my opponent has a Tiger, and so I need to counter that somehow in some way. So I do have two AT guns on the field now, and I'm going to be needing both of those against the Tiger, because the Tiger has a lot of health and a lot of armor. It's not a great unit, as you saw in my previous video, called, what did I call that? 5 Vet 3 units? Something like that. No, that's not what I called it. It had 5 Vet 3 units. I called it Unit Preservation because that's what it was about. But at the end of that game, I had 5 Vet 3 units. So just like you saw in that game, the Tiger is just not very good as a unit. His Tiger already is down to half health against my 2 AT guns, so I'm not really worried about the Tiger at this point. I feel like I can just take it on and kill it. But I have to use AT guns to take it on, because like a T-70 or a T-34 is not going to kill a Tiger, even from behind. My opponent does have a Grenadier squad here, capturing points behind my AT guns, which is a bit interesting. Like, he didn't try to just kill my AT guns, instead he was just capturing points, so I bring my T-70 in to help kill the Grenadier squad, and that's exactly what it does. It starts shooting at the Grenadier squad and hopefully kills it. It is dead. Perfect. So he lost the Grenadier squad. That's a pretty big blow. 240 manpower is quite a bit. Manpower is the rarest resource after all. So the T-70 actually reached Vet 3 in that process of fighting the Grenadier squad. So now it's a Vet 3 T-70. It's a heroic T-70, but it's going to be even better before this game is over because it's going to help me win this game. Not too much going on in the map right now, in the game right now. I'm just going around capturing points that I know my opponent is not protecting. Just gotta be careful about what he is protecting and what he isn't. But I do have units all over the map capturing points. 3 conscript squads sitting in my base, because one was just produced and the other 2 were reinforcing. And so now I can bring them out to the middle of the map, where I always bring units in this particular game, in this particular match. Because that's where all the fighting happened, really. Another incendiary barrage by his mortar. It's so annoying. So annoying. He used it quite well in this game. He definitely used the incendiary barrage quite well. Like I said earlier, wait till you see how many kills that mortar half-track had by the end of the game. Wait till you see it. It's just crazy. Ooh, a Vet 3 Grenadier squad! You know what would be really nice is to kill that Vet 3 Grenadier squad. Sadly it didn't happen though, because he has a Stug, and I don't know where his Tiger is, so I didn't want to give too much chase. But now I know he has a Stug, he might have a Panzer IV, and he does have a Tiger. So he has a Stug and a Tiger for sure. He might also have a Panzer IV. And, basically, intel on his tanks, and intel is always a good thing. Over on the right BP, you might have seen me lay a detonator? No, an explosive over there. I don't even know what it's called. I literally have never seen the name for that thing in Company of Heroes 2. But I laid an explosive over there, and that is just in case he decides to attack that VP. Because right now he is triple capped, and we just lost a Vet 3 Grenadier squad. That is awesome! But he is triple capped right now, and I want to keep that triple cap going because the longer this game goes, the more likely I am to lose. And so the faster I can win, the better. So I am protecting the rightmost VP with the explosives, and the middle VP is protected by my whole army. The leftmost VP is protected by nothing, because I just capped it, and that squad was forced to retreat by his Tiger, because my conscript squad cannot win against a Tiger. Imagine that. I decided to go and cut off my opponent here in the middle by taking that cut off strategic point, but we'll see how that goes for me. I am going to have to move up more to my army if I choose to do that, because his Tiger's over there in the area, and he also has a Stug somewhere in that area as well. If I do manage to do it, though, he'll be cut off from a lot of his resources, so it would be a good thing to do. So I move in one conscript squad, because I just decided to go and try to capture this point, but as you can see, it's not going to work out. He has a Stug, a Panzer IV, and a Pioneer squad in the area, and so I'm not able to capture the point. I just have to retreat here pretty soon. His whole Pio squad died! Oh my gosh, and did you see the Stug push the flaming Pio man? That was hilarious. Oh, go back and watch that little scene if you missed it. His Stug pushed his flaming Pio man, and it like went into the air, or he went sliding, or something like that. It was pretty funny. What else is going on? I have 3 AT guns at this point because my opponent has a lot of vehicles, as you've seen. He has a Tiger, a Stug, and a Panzer IV. So I need something to counter all those, and a T-70 and AT grenades are not going to do that alone, so I do need some AT guns, and that's exactly what I have. I could have bought SU-85s. 85, right? Yeah, 85. Because I do have plenty of fuel. I have 510 fuel. That's a lot of fuel. That's plenty to buy the SU-85, but I am not buying SU-85s because I don't want to spend the manpower on them. It costs a lot to tech up to them, and it costs a lot to buy them. So instead I'm just buying the AT guns and calling it good. Getting better at using AT guns here. So now you can see a red vehicle is near my base, and that is actually his Tiger. So he's getting desperate at this point. He wants to win in some shape or form, so he decides to attack my base with his Tiger. And this is interesting. It's not really going to help him too much, because the Tiger's not a very good unit. But he is trying to... He's trying to squish my squads here. He did a good job of that. He did a good job squishing right there, as you may have seen. But it's not going to win him the game. It's not going to win him the game at all, because he might have a Tiger in my base, but the Tiger's not going to kill all my buildings fast enough. I think what he wanted to do was just lure all of my AT into my base, and then he would charge with his Panzer IV and his Stug in the middle of the map, and using that he'd be able to take the middle VP and hold the left VP and count down my VPs that way with his 2 VPs. However, I am not that stupid. I do not retreat my whole army or all my AT into my base. Instead, I keep it in the middle of the map because I'm not scared of the Tiger. The Tiger is not going to destroy all my base buildings before the end of the game at this point. So I'm not scared of it, and so I keep all my AT in the middle of the map. I keep pretty much my whole army in the middle of the map. And you may have noticed up at the topmost VP, I have a T-70, the Vet 3 T-70 that I've had this whole game, in capture mode, capturing that leftmost VP. I'm about to triple cap him now. So you can attack my base, buddy. I don't care. I'm not afraid of that. I'm just going to go and capture the remaining VP and win the game that way. Look at that T-70 doing its job, and oh no, a Stug! No! No! Oh, my T-70's dead. No! So, there goes the heroic T-70. It was Vet 3. It captured the last VP, winning me the game at this point, and then he died valiantly. So, he's a hero. He won me the game for sure. So, yeah, there goes my heroic T-70. Quite the loss. You can see here, the Tiger is really not doing much in my base. I brought one AT gun to try and counter the Tiger, but it's not going to do very much because the Tiger has a lot of health and a lot of armor, and the AT gun just isn't able to do much. I tell my opponent, nice try with the base rush, and it was a nice try, but it was guaranteed not to work since I was able to protect my two VPs, the middle one and the right one, and then eventually I captured the left one with my T-70. So I ended up winning here. He lost all his VPs, that's why I won. He didn't quit or anything like that. And we once again see how the Tiger, or really any super tank, is just not that good of a unit. It didn't save him, it didn't win him the game, that's for sure. It didn't save him from losing the game. You can see the Stug here, but I wasn't afraid of the Stug capturing the point, because the Stug cannot capture points. There's my heroic T-70 carcass, just sitting there next to the house. He died valiantly. He won me the game. Vet 3 Grenadier Squad over there. I wonder what other vetted units my opponent had. I had no Vet 3 units this game, because I wasn't very good at unit preservation this game. The T-70 I did keep alive very well. I admire myself there. But that was really the only Vet 3 unit I had this whole game. That detonator, that explosive, would have been nice to use, but my opponent never attacked the rightmost VP, which is interesting. He could have attacked it. He could have protected the left one, attacked the right one, and had two VPs and possibly won that way, although it's unlikely he would have won. But instead he decided to base rush, and it did not work out for him. Vet 3 mortar, look at that, 47 kills. That is crazy. 47 kills on the mortar half-track. I told you it would be a huge number of kills. I have had one unit with the 50 plus kills. I believe it was a sniper before, back when this game first came out. That was a really amazing sniper, but 47 kills on a mortar half-track is also amazing. And I know for a fact that it's because of the incendiary barrage. If he hadn't used the incendiary barrage as much as he did, he wouldn't have had 47 kills on that half-track. So anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this video. It was a good game. Heroic T-70 for the win. Quite an interesting ending, in my opinion. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys. If you look up at the top right corner of the screen, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Vet 3 squads, 4 of which are conscripts, and 1 of which is an AT gun. Then I have a Vet 2 mortar as well. That's the last vetted unit I have.